Okay, we're gonna do this one. This one's gonna be about how much Portuguese is in Macau. So we're gonna go check out the room. Okay, I'm the content creator for this channel. If you like what I'm doing, just subscribe and hit the like button. So we're gonna talk about that and do a little narration. And then this road right here goes all the way to Sao Paulo ruins. So I just wanted to show you a little bit of what it looks like. So and of course Sao Paulo ruins is kind of like a big Portuguese well-known tourist attraction for many people. But we're going to be going towards this way. So a lot of people, they'll ask, you know, like they'll say, is there much Portuguese in Macau? I think nobody speaks Portuguese, and I would say that there are Portuguese here, and some of the locals do speak Portuguese, but in general not a lot. So when people ask that question, that would be true. There's not a lot. Most people do not speak Portuguese, but as you can see, legally anything from the public government is required. So you'll see Chinese, Portuguese, and English. So for example, like that. So there is Portuguese here, and what we're going to do in a minute is there's also a Portuguese bookstore right up there. So and if we went up there, you would see a testament to the fact that there are Portuguese definitely here. And then you can also see it in this architecture. So historically this was a Portuguese city, so there definitely was the Portuguese imprint is everywhere, as well as you can see it in the tiles. And I have looked at old photos of this. It wasn't always as beautiful as it is now. There used to be just a road where cars were coming down, and it didn't have near as much beauty as it does right now. That's just because of the test of time, just, you know, what they saw they could do with it, probably more than anything. So how much Portuguese is here? Well, there is a Portuguese community, and as a foreigner myself, I tap into the foreign community as an American person that I am. And so basically what I see, I used to also live in Japan and Korea for a number of years, and in both of those places everything was either in Japanese or Korean, like from every level, which is understandable. But here, because Portuguese is one of the official languages, that means that lawyers come in and they speak Portuguese. They have to know Portuguese, so they will bring in people from Portugal who will know the law, and they'll be usually from Portugal itself, sometimes from another Portuguese-speaking country. That also means that librarians and anybody that's connected to the government will have to know Portuguese as well. So if a Chinese person, local person, Macau person, or Portuguese person, whoever it is, they have to know Chinese to a certain extent and pass certain numbers to prove it to be able to get a government job. So a lot of locals will actually study Portuguese. They usually know it more in that context of enough Portuguese to secure that job. Doesn't mean that they always speak Portuguese though, but they will probably know it in a grammatical and reading and writing kind of way, in a way that a government might require it. It's beautiful right here, especially at nighttime. So I think we're just gonna, later we're gonna walk there. There's a little ambulance there. It's just so spectacularly beautiful at nighttime here. So there's that element as well for Portuguese. As far as a Portuguese person who comes here, for them, I think that they would be very pleasantly comfortable because of all the Portuguese written everywhere. So even this one, you know, it'll say like traditional Chinese medicine in Portuguese. It'll say that. So a Portuguese person will quickly understand exactly what's here. What's this one? Looks like a guy in a... Let's see what that guy, I don't know. That's an ambulance down there, so... Oh, this guy is a security guy, so there's a security vehicle. Okay. So, what else for Portuguese in Macau? So how about somebody like myself? I was able to live in Brazil a long time ago for 6 months, picked up a little bit of Portuguese, and I would know a little bit of Spanish, you know, as many Americans might as well. There's another beautiful corner right there. But the ambulance just left. Okay. It's just kind of film in a space like that. So for someone like me, when I came, Well, there's enough English here. So actually for, there's the ambulance right there, or police. So there's enough, let's see, there's enough, that's kind of a cool shot right there. There's enough English here that if you're Spanish or Portuguese, I say Spanish because the Portuguese is so similar, so if you can read Spanish, you might understand some of the Portuguese in a written kind of way. And so because of the English, that you probably would just rely on English. And actually most people speak English here. That's one of the things about the Portuguese community here. Most of them will also speak English because everybody usually speaks English with them. So when I meet them and talk to them and I try to use my Portuguese, they'll usually speak back to me in English most of the time because they want to improve theirs and they're used to it. Usually most Portuguese usually don't know Chinese, usually. But there are older generation of Macau people who do know Portuguese. So a lot of Portuguese people that I know who live here will say that, like the older generation might speak to them fluently. But I think they usually say that they, what do they say? I think they say that they may or may not be able to read and write it, but they'll be able to speak it really well. So I guess that's maybe a testament of them being born and raised when Macau was a Portuguese colony. What else should I say about Portuguese? So anyways, as far as Portuguese people around, for a tourist walking around, they probably will come to the conclusion that there aren't any around, and they come to that conclusion because the Portuguese aren't really walking around in the tourist areas very often. The ones that live here aren't anyways. Some of them might, but in general, I will see the Portuguese people when I go to the places where they have events. And what I mean by that is some of them are involved with like the art scenes, the film scenes, literature scenes, things like that, and they'll make things accessible in Portuguese, often English as well, and Chinese, and they'll and as a English-speaking person, that'll be an access for me to be able to communicate and interact with whatever kind of stuff is happening. So for example, there's an event called the Script Road here, and the Script Road is in all three languages. They'll publish the books in all three languages of whatever writers are writing stuff about Macau at times, and about well, they'll have a little book, and the writers will write a story about Macau, and they'll publish it in that book and be published in all three languages. And those writers might come from Portugal or anywhere really, China definitely as well. So it's kind of, we'll just keep talking a little bit. So those places are access points to be able to meet Portuguese people. Definitely, if anybody is living here and they have like a law-related thing, you will almost always go through the Portuguese community. You can definitely find Chinese people who know Portuguese law too, but that would be one place that you can. Just kind of looking around a little bit. The camera's straight is going forward, but I'm looking back and forth. But if you have to interact with laws for any kind of thing, you'll probably be going through Portuguese people as well, and anything with the government. So let's say that your kids, if you're a foreigner, and your kids go to have to deal with the government for school-related things, you'll probably interact with Portuguese as well. So there's so that's here as well. So for example, the government, to be in education are also government jobs. So of course those would be, people have to learn a certain amount of Portuguese for any government job, including those. Not for many, not all, but. So, okay, I hope I answers those questions a little bit. Oh, that's pretty close building right there. But I hope that answered your question a little bit about how much Portuguese is in Macau. Actually, I think I'm gonna end this in a minute, and I'm gonna just capture some pretty cool scenes like this corner like that. That is incredible. And I'm gonna capture this other one on this other side as well. There we go, look at that. Wow, amazing. And if I had to answer the question, is Macau a beautiful city? Yep, definitely. amazing city, especially in this place right here, right now, at this time of the evening. So I don't know, if you have some other questions you want to know, I can answer about the Filipino community, the Indonesian community. They're also here too. There's diaspora from different parts of Portuguese-speaking world, so we can definitely talk about those as well. So if you're interested in any of those, just let me know and I'll definitely talk about them as well. There's a runner. Okay. So yeah, just gonna walk. So yeah, just make sure that you like, subscribe, and let's go straight into this. Like, subscribe, and then create some questions and create a little bit of discussion. Just as an aside, if you post things, they will go into the algorithm and my video will be a little bit more shared around the internet community. So if you don't like it and you don't make any comments, but you like the video, this video won't be seen by very many people. So just kind of take that in mind. So also with other videos going forward as well. So okay, hope you enjoyed the beauty of Macau and exactly all the amazing stuff there is to see here. So add this to this is Livraria Portuguese, which is Portuguese bookstore, and people if I was to walk straight that way, there's a Portuguese embassy, but I just want to share this and add it to the other video. So you got some Portuguese things in Portuguese, you got wine. Okay, so you can see some of the titles. Maybe not through the glass very well, but you can see they're in Portuguese anyways. Okay. Portuguese bookstore. Just for context. Straight down that way. Yeah, so down that way.